There is something quiet about turning 65. No parade, no grand moment, just a date on the calendar, a new number on your health card, maybe a letter in the mail that says you are now officially a senior. And yet, something shifts. Even if you feel the same inside, the world begins to look at you differently. You notice it in the way people speak to you, in the assumptions they make, in the way your own mind whispers, "So, what now?" Maybe you feel proud. After all, reaching 65 is no small thing. It means you have lived through heartbreaks and holidays, through years that ask more of you than you thought you had. But along with the pride, there might be confusion, or fear, or quiet sadness. Because aging, for all its wisdom, brings a kind of invisibility. A slow peeling away of roles, of routines, of things that once made you feel certain. What do you do when the life you built begins to shift beneath your feet? When the days stretch wide, but feel strangely empty? When you wonder what is left to become, and whether it matters? Here is the truth. It does matter, and you are not alone in those questions. In fact, you are standing at the threshold of something sacred, a chapter not defined by noise, but by clarity. Today, I want to share 4 quiet truths that came to me after I turned 65 truths that did not just change how I saw aging, they changed how I began to live. Turning 65 is not just a number, it is a doorway. A moment when the outer world may slow down, but your inner world begins to speak more clearly. In this next part of our conversation, I will gently share 4 truths that revealed themselves to me after that birthday. Not advice, not rules. Just simple understandings, the kind that settle in your chest and bring a little more peace, a little more freedom. Some may feel familiar, others may surprise you, but each one has the power to quietly shift the way you live and the way you see yourself. Truth number 1, you do not have to earn rest anymore. There is a voice many of us have carried for decades. It says, be useful, stay busy, do not waste time. It pushes you to get up early, to keep moving, to measure your days by what you accomplished. And maybe that voice helped you raise a family, build a home, care for others. But after 65, something changes. The world slows down, the calendar is quieter, and suddenly resting feels strange, like something you have not quite earned. Gloria, 66, retired after 40 years as a nurse. In the first few weeks, she woke up early, paced the kitchen, and made lists just to stay busy. But no matter how much she crossed off, she felt unsettled. She later shared, I felt like I had to prove my worth every day, even though I had already given so much of my life to others. Over time, Gloria began to sit with her tea a little longer. She watched the sunrise without guilt. She let herself take naps without apology. Slowly, rest became not a weakness, but a kindness, a way of saying, you have done enough. You may feel the same way. Like rest must be justified, but it does not. Not anymore. Rest is not laziness. It is repair. It is reflection. It is your body asking for what it has long been denied: gentleness. Try building moments of true stillness into your day, not as something you sneak in, but as something you honor. Let your rest be sacred. Let it be quiet proof that you no longer have to keep up with anyone else's pace, only your own. Because after 65, you do not have to earn rest. You have already earned the right to slow down and breathe. Truth number 2, you are allowed to outgrow who you used to be. There is a quiet expectation placed on us as we age, the belief that we must remain the same, that our identity, our interests, even our friendships should stay rooted in who we have always been. But one of the most freeing truths after 65 is this: you are still allowed to change. Outgrowing something does not mean you failed, it means you have grown. Walter, 70, spent every Tuesday night for years playing poker with the same group of men. It was tradition, routine, and for a long time, it brought him joy. But slowly, the jokes started to sting. The conversations no longer felt easy. He began to dread the evenings instead of looking forward to them. One day, he quietly stopped going. He started painting instead, something he had not done since high school. It felt odd at first, breaking away from what had defined so many years of his life. But something opened in him. He said, "I realized I was not the same man I was at 50. And that was not a loss. It was a shift." You may notice similar shifts: a hobby that no longer excites you, a relationship that feels more draining than warm, a belief you once held that no longer fits your spirit. These changes are not betrayals of your past. They are invitations to become more fully yourself. You are letting go is hard, but staying stuck in who you used to be is harder. You are not bound to your former self. You are not required to keep every tradition, please every person, or hold on to every version of you that came before. You are allowed to evolve even now. Especially now. Because when you stop clinging to what no longer fits, you make room for something truer, something lighter, something more you. And that too is a beautiful kind of freedom. If one of these truths feels familiar or gently challenge something in you, I would love to hear it. You can comment Truth 1 or Truth 2, or simply share a moment when you let yourself rest or grow. This space is here for reflection, not performance, for honesty, not pressure. If you are finding comfort in these quiet truths, I invite you to subscribe and tap the bell. Each week, we explore what it means to age with grace, depth, and dignity together. Now, let us keep going. The next truth speaks not to what you do, but how you show up. Truth number 3, your presence is more powerful than your advice. As you get older, people may start turning to you with questions. They might ask how you handled something in the past, or how you would solve a problem they are facing now. And because you have lived through so much love, loss, struggle, growth, you may feel an urge to guide, to fix, to offer advice that spares them the hardship you once faced. But here is a truth that gently changes everything. What people often need most from you is not your answer, it is your presence. Lillian, 68, used to feel frustrated with her daughter's choices. When her daughter shared something hard, Lillian would jump in with solutions. "You should do this. Have you tried that?" But instead of helping, it created distance. One day, her daughter said softly, "I just need you to listen." So Lillian began to do that, just listen. She would nod, hold her daughter's hand, or simply say, "That sounds hard." Over time, something shifted between them. Their conversations deepened. Her daughter opened up more not because Lillian had the perfect words, but because she offered calm, quiet presence. You might feel the same pull to protect your children, grandchildren, or friends with your wisdom. That comes from love. But sometimes, the greatest healing happens when you sit beside someone without trying to fix them. Your stillness can be a shelter, your patience a form of care, your quiet acceptance a kind of wisdom all its own. Try replacing advice with presence. Instead of speaking first, try listening longer. Instead of offering answers, offer comfort. Let your calm become their courage. Because your value is not in what you say. It is in how deeply you are willing to stay. And in a world full of noise, your gentle presence may be the most powerful thing you have to give. Truth number 4, you are still becoming even now. Approximately 400 words, most emotional. There is a quiet belief many people carry after 65 that the growing part is over, that who you are is already decided, that the biggest chapters have been written, and what remains is the slow turning of pages toward the end. But that belief is not true, not even close. Because even now, you are still becoming. Sam, 72, once believed his life was settled. He had retired. His routines were simple. The people he loved were either near or gone. But after his wife passed, something inside him opened. Not easily, not quickly, but deeply. He found himself forgiving old wounds he had carried for decades. He began volunteering at a local shelter. He wrote letters he had been too afraid to send when he was younger. One day, he said, "I thought I was finished changing, but now I feel more like myself than I ever did before." Becoming does not always look like doing more. Sometimes it looks like softening, or feeling something you once avoided, or seeing beauty in something you used to overlook. It may mean discovering that you are more patient now, or braver, or more tender with yourself. You are not a finished story. You are not a photograph in a frame, fixed and unchanging. You are still unfolding in your thoughts, in your spirit, in the quiet ways your heart makes room for what life continues to teach. Ask yourself, What part of me is still growing? It could be a gentler voice in your mind, a deeper sense of calm, a new joy in small things. Whatever it is, honor it. You are still allowed to dream, to wonder, to begin again. Not despite your age, but because of it. Because the soul does not age the way the body does. It ripens, it deepens, it becomes. And so do you, even now, especially now. You have just heard 4 quiet truths that may have felt familiar or perhaps a little surprising. They were not rules or instructions, but gentle reminders of something deeper, that turning 65 is not an ending. It is an unfolding. You do not have to earn rest anymore. You have done enough, given enough, carried enough. Now, you are allowed to pause, to breathe, to feel the sunlight on your skin without needing to explain why you are not doing more. You are also allowed to change, to let go of roles, routines, or relationships that no longer reflect who you are becoming, because you are not who you were at 40 or even 60. And that is not loss, it is growth. You no longer need to prove yourself through advice or fixing things. The way you sit beside someone, the steadiness in your voice, the softness in your presence, these speak louder than words ever could. And most of all, you are still becoming. You are still growing, still healing, still opening. You are not done. You are not defined by the past or limited by the calendar. You are still here, still learning, still unfolding into the person you were always meant to become. So be gentle with yourself. Be curious. Be proud. Because your age is not a closing door, it is a deeper invitation to live with more truth, more peace, and more presence than ever before. And you, dear one, are more than ready. If one of these truths spoke to your heart, I invite you to share it in the comments. You can write truth 2 or truth 4, or tell us something you have recently let go of or grown into. This space is here for gentle reflection, not judgment. Your story may be the light someone else needs to hear. And if this message brought you comfort or clarity, I hope you will like this video, subscribe, and tap the bell. We are building a quiet community here, one that honors the wisdom and worth of every season. Until next time, take gentle care. But that belief is not true, not even close. Because even now, you are still becoming. Sam, 72, once believed his life was settled. He had retired. His routines were simple. The people he loved were either near or gone. But after his wife passed, something inside him opened, not easily, not quickly, but deeply. He found himself forgiving old wounds he had carried for decades. He began volunteering at a local shelter. He wrote letters he had been too afraid to send when he was younger. One day, he said, "I thought I was finished changing, but now I feel more like myself than I ever did before." Becoming does not always look like doing more. Sometimes it looks like softening, or feeling something you once avoided, or seeing beauty in something you used to overlook. It may mean discovering that you are more patient now, or braver, or more tender with yourself. You are not a finished story. You are not a photograph in a frame, fixed and unchanging. You are still unfolding in your thoughts, in your spirit, in the quiet ways your heart makes room for what life continues to teach. Ask yourself, what part of me is still growing? It could be a gentler voice in your mind, a deeper sense of calm, a new joy in small things. Whatever it is, honor it. You are